Welcome back to Hack City. Joe DeLeone and Sean Anderson, two former college football players from the University of Rhode Island. We are previewing the next round of FCS football playoff action. It's going to be the main event this weekend on Friday and on Saturday. If anyone asks you to do anything responsible, you tell them to go screw, because it's the FCS football playoffs. Before we get into our preview, though, I want to remind everybody that today's episode is presented to you by our good friends over at FanDuel. If you're going to be betting on college football, the NFL, maybe you want to bet on NHL, basketball, maybe you're sick of betting on football, like you just want to bet on something new. Maybe you can go and find some interesting new sports over at FanDuel. It's the best sports book out there. Sean, any lines you were telling me earlier that you liked?
You know I love Thursday Night Football. We got a doozy, the scorching hot Atlanta Falcons playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are currently vying for the one playoff spot in the NFC South. Bucks favored by 4.5. The Atlanta Falcons, the team that I support, is terrible. They're really, really one of the worst teams in the league. So 4.5 doesn't feel right to me. I tripled the spread. Tampa Bay 12.5. You could tease it up at FanDuel. If you've got a hunch or you just know that your team is terrible, like I know my team is terrible, bet against them. Go ahead. I love doing it. I love betting against my team. I love this feeling in my stomach at this point of the year where I got nothing to look forward to, and it's dark and it's cold. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make some money. Can't take that away from me. Come and get it.
You're going to lose money.
That's crazy.
Knowing that the Falcons continue to disappoint you. I can't wait for that. We're here to, of course, talk about FCS football. Sean, let's jump right into this first game. Stephen F. Austin at Montana State. Stephen F. Austin, 11-2, coming off of a Grimace victory over ACU, 41-35. We've got Montana State, though, who held off Yale. They have been a juggernaut running the football this year with Lamson, Julius Davis, and Adam Pac-Man Jones. SFA has been quietly one of the better teams in FCS football. I mentioned last week, and I've mentioned multiple times, I feel like they have been disrespected, and they are starting to prove everybody wrong. How do you look at this matchup?
I look at it with actually two words that you just said introducing Montana State, which is held off.
Pac-Man Jones?
No, not Pac-Man Jones.
It's 3 words.
Held off.
2?
What is Pac-Man a hyphenation?
No, it's Pac-Man's 1 word.
Okay, so you had 2 words there. It's not Pac-Man Jones. It's held off. And that's what it feels like Montana State has done to just about every team this year, except for Montana, which was just a brutal clubbing between 2 grizzly bears in the wild. Like, that's what that felt like. But they've held teams off. They could hold off Stephen F. Austin, but they're very susceptible to get a lot of bump from teams, which it doesn't feel like the same team of Montana State from last year, who was either we're gonna beat you by 40 or it's going to be a nail biter. No. We're winning, but we're not really running away with it. And that means a talented team like Stephen F. Austin, if you're putting up points quick, they could catch Montana State off guard. Just with the way that they've been winning games and playing in them, if Stephen F. Austin can tap in, get Jarrell Wembley in quickly, get a big catch from Kylan Harris, maybe Sam Vidlac's on, like Montana State would have to wake up. But I don't want that to be construed as Montana State is sleepy or Montana State doesn't win games.
That is what you just said. I think that is exactly
They're not sleepy. They just don't run away with games this season. So if Stephen F. Austin puts up points quick, then Montana State would have to really, I guess, lock in.
Put it on the Montana State quote graphic. Sean Anderson, Montana State's a bunch of frauds.
No,
my God. I can't believe you just said that.
I didn't say that, but here's the thing.
How could you do this?
You're the worst. Justin Lamson has had a good year. First year starting quarterback for Montana State this season. He's not that other guy who I can't name on this show without being called King Glazer and upsetting a bunch of Montana fans. So I'm going to keep his name out of my mouth. But Lamson isn't running for 203 touchdowns and throwing for 203 touchdowns like other previous Montana State quarterbacks are. He's doing the job and he's doing it well, but he's not bringing the brung. Montana State had the brung guard before brung guard went crazy at Youngstown State. Now Montana State has Justin Lamson, and he's not dropping lamb on anybody.
Man, I wish we had Tommy Millott this year
when
we started.
Careful, they'll yell at you.
We could have had such a good nickname for Tommy Malott. I feel I don't know why we didn't start doing the Malott nicknames. Tommy Malott's bringing a whole lot to the table.
No.
You didn't like that one?
I was not ready.
All right, back to the game. A couple things that stand out to me. First of all, you brought up an interesting point that last round didn't exactly spark a ton of confidence in me with Montana State, but they've also been a team that's won impressively throughout the year, and they've been far more tested than SFA has. The way that they won against UC Davis was confident. The way that they were able to beat Montana and to win with an exclamation point, I felt like that was incredibly notable. And that, to me, is the reason why we buy into Montana State. Running the ball for 234 rush yards per game is ridiculous. They're averaging 6.8 yards per play overall, which is another insane number. But SFA does a number of things that are just shocking, despite not having as difficult of a stretch of opponents that they've squared off with. Their biggest wins are Cal Poly and Lamar, and the ACU win that they had last week.
Very good.
Lost them at the beginning of the year, of course. But I look at this SFA team where they've got 40 sacks on the year as a team. They've allowed 20. They're only allowing 87 rush yards per game. They're running the ball for their own success with 161. It feels like they've quietly been the hottest team in FCS football that nobody's talked about because they play in a very generally not as difficult conference. They're not challenged as much as the Big Sky. They're not challenged as much as the Missouri Valley. But no, I'm not kidding on people. I think that SFA is going to put up a pretty big fight here. I think this game is going to be tight, but I, of course, am going to go with the Bobcats.
I'm also going with the Bobcats. One point that I'm sure is going to irritate a lot of people from Texas. They're playing at Montana State in December.
That's a good point. Wait. Where's
you don't even need to look it up. It's not going to be if there's there's no way there's here. A 4 in front of the temperature number for this game. And I know it gets cold in Texas, and that's
it's 51 degrees there right now. It is 70 degrees on Saturday in Texas, which means they're not used to the cold. What is the weather at Montana?
That's BS, by the way. I walked to the train today in 20 degrees.
Oh my God, it was 18 degrees. I walked outside.
Foul.
I try to go for a quick walk in the morning right when I wake up to get things moving, and I didn't check the weather, and I looked at my phone as I was walking, and I was thinking to myself, this was awfully colder than usual. 18 degrees. Screw that.
I had the shiesty on this morning.
It's going to be 41 degrees.
Oh.
So it is going to be pretty cold.
41 feels like 5. Nice. Yeah. Have fun, SFA. Yeah. Good luck. Well, you know what? Good luck, because they're going to get the people in the state. It's not even the team that you got to worry about. Everyone's warm on the football field when you're playing. It's the fans. You'd think that nobody would show up for these conditions. They show up. They get loud. They're in your ear. It's 15 degrees. You just turn the ball over, and you're in hell. So that's what it really feels like playing this late in the season. How would I know? Yeah, I know.
Villanova at Tarleton, probably still mispronouncing it.
They gave us one. They hit us with that also, by the way.
They did?
Yeah.
How do we pronounce it? I don't understand.
Tarleton is what they say.
All right, Tarleton. Tarleton State. Why is it pronounced Tarleton if it's spelled Tarleton?
Hey, you know what I'm going to tell you?
Oh!
I'm not bending the knee on this one.
So wait, Tarleton?
It sounds the same to me. I swear to God. It's not that intentional for us, but
because it's spelled Tarleton.
Yes. It's almost like it's a silent L.
Tarleton? Wait.
I like calling it Tarleton. Tarleton.
State. This is Tarleton. We're saying Tarleton. Google says Tarleton is the phonetic pronunciation. Tarleton.
I don't know where the L goes, and that irritates me.
We're just getting screwed with.
Yeah.
People are just screwing with us. Here's one thing that's going to be really tough, though, for this game for Villanova. The people in the stands, those boys are going to be fucked up. Did you see this promotion that I told you about?
Yeah.
I am fired up for this.
Yeah, that's how you
More teams
that's what you do.
Need to do this.
Welcome to the playoffs.
This is some Grimace behavior. This is premier Grimace behavior. They are doing $1 beer and hot dogs for this game. I also appreciate that Tarleton State's football account posted, buckle up.
Yeah, you better.
Buckle up. I can't wait to see what the vibes are like in the stadium. I can tell you right now that lame little goofy ass stadium that they have at Villanova, they don't get crowds like the one that they're going to see for Tarleton, man. They are going to come out. Victor Gabalis is going to get his balls out for this battle. Tarleton's coming off of a win, a pretty confident win against North Dakota, 31-13. Meanwhile, Villanova dogged Harvard in the first round, 52-7, and they were able to squeak past Lehigh 14-7. Feels like this is the end of the road on dollar beer and hot dog. By the way, I tweeted this. I couldn't be more tempted to get on a flight to Dallas. I could not be more tempted to fly to Dallas and to drive to Tarleton State and go to this game because of the dollar beers.
People keep on like apologizing for like CAA. Oh, CAA guys, CAA. If we went to Tarleton State, we'd be yelling against Villanova.
I'd be decked out in purple.
It wouldn't
You'd
even
be dressed up
be
as Grimace.
Yeah. You guys need to realize Grimace is our conference that we support. Okay.
Yeah.
So when the Reddit FCS guys do their yearly podcast, what you need to know, who they represent, I don't want it
we
put
don't
down
represent the CAA. We represent Rhodey
anymore.
somewhat, but we don't represent the CAA.
Don't put us down as CAA. Don't even put us down in national. Put us down as Grimace Conference, and then everyone else can figure it out. That's my request for next year.
Yep.
Because
you got to remember to tag Reddit FCS and let them know that
Grimace Conference has been showing up, and they've put a really good team in the playoffs with Tarleton State. They got it all. They got the run game. Tylen Hines had a huge game last week, 120 yards on the ground, 28 carries. Victor Gabalis has been stellar, one of the best FCS quarterbacks over the last couple years. Just really calm, composed. It looks like he's just comfortable with the world when he's playing quarterback. So hard to do.
That's the craziest descriptor for a quarterback, and it kind of goes hard, and I kind of respect it.
I just, it's he's not dancing around. He's not scrambling. He's just back there knowing what he needs to do. If he makes a mistake, fine. He knows he's going to throw a pick. People throw picks. He had one last week. You know what else he had? 3 touchdowns and 292 against North Dakota. Throwing to Marquise Willis and Peyton Kramer, 2 guys that caught tuds, both over 80 yards received. Like they got all the dudes that you need for offense to win. They have absolutely recruited their asses off, put together, filled out all the non-flashy positions on defense and offense with really good players. You can tell when you watch this team, they've got above average FCS size. They've got above average FCS speed and strength. Villanova's still working in the average there. A really good team from the East Coast. Really good. But when you got to go to Texas and play that size, you're going to the freaking beef factory. Villanova's out here making pencils. They're making Ticonderogas. Yeah, people need to write. But you're getting to the beef show, and that's what Tarleton's going to go and show you. But I don't know. Pat McQuaid has had a pretty decent playoffs. His first game versus Harvard was really good. He had a touchdown last week. Villanova's in the business of winning ugly. They're in the business of winning slowly. Tarleton State is a pull the pants down. I'm going to spank you around for 60 minutes, and then we're going to put you back, put an ice pack on you and send you on your merry way as we move on. Tarleton has I think, definite lean for me in this matchup.
Yeah, I think that this is going to be a real flexing opportunity for Tarleton. Look, Villanova has done some great stuff during the playoffs here. They have 2 really good wins. You beat one of the best teams in FCS football, knocking off Lehigh. I just don't see something that they do so exceptionally well that gets me excited. I see Tarleton, who's got ridiculous pass game production, almost 270 pass yards per game. They're averaging over 240 rush yards per game. The one area of weakness that might catch up to them, they're allowing 163 rush yards per game. I think I brought this up last week. Their secondary is tremendous, only giving up 160 pass yards per game. But they've had these instances where it feels like when they face teams that run the ball decently well, they end up getting a little bit impacted. We'll see if Villanova is able to take advantage of that.
Villanova can run the ball. Jabril Mace is a good running back. But it's the offensive line. That's what I think it comes down to in the playoffs. You can get away with having one guy that's getting an NFL look, another guy that's having a CFL look, and 3 dudes that are just going to play. They're going to play college football. They're college football starters, obviously, but they're not going to get looks afterwards. Like that'll get you a lot of wins from the front five in college football. Like it's going to help your run game. Your quarterbacks can be better for it. But if you don't really have got a full five that look like they could blossom into dudes that are at least getting phone calls, it's FCS. I'm not talking about draft picks, but really potential
just phone calls. Say, hey, how you doing?
Yeah, hey, how you doing? That'd be nice. Send those measurables over, please. Thank you.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying
that
they just straight up calling to say hi. You said phone call. You didn't specify. You said it's not draft.
You know what? That's on me. I did not.
Hey, you do anything later? That's the way that you framed it. I know, not draft calls, just phone calls.
Sure, yeah, phone calls.
Your phone is going to ring.
Okay, Tarleton's getting them calls. I don't think Villanova really is or will be. Good season, though. It's fine. You know what? This sucks. I hate that when I talk like it's all decided, and then Villanova's going to have like 2 punt return touchdowns, and it's going to be. Like,
I know
it's going to be Villanova up 4. And I see freaking sickos committee talking about the Wildcats are making it tight in Texas. What? How? It's playoffs. Anything can happen.
Hell yeah. All right, next game that we've got here, South Dakota at Montana. This one I am the most intrigued for because this one potentially could end up being the most exhilarating because South Dakota really, really put everybody on notice with the 47-0 ass whooping that they put down on Mercer last round. They also beat Drake 38-17. Montana's coming off of a also impressive win over South Dakota State, winning 50-29. Look, Montana's been the more consistently dominant team this year. But it seems like South Dakota has some motion that we didn't know that they had.
They really do. LJ Phillips Jr. is the motion. I feel like South Dakota, the way we're talking about this offense is how we were talking about Montana a bit last year, where the running back was blossoming on the scene and really, really having a great year. A quarterback plays fine. Like Bauman has not wowed me like Ayat has this year. So I don't feel like the offense is fully fleshed out, even though they all had a great week last week. They all did. Bauman had 2 touchdowns. Phillips Jr. had 2 touchdowns. Carson Fletcher, the other great running back they had 107 yards. They did. Tyson Bowes, Lorenzo Fenner, both had great games. Like they have the offense. They have everything you need. I just think everything that South Dakota does that on offense that's good, Montana's doing the same thing, just turned up by another degree. Like it feels like 2 sides of the same coin, except the Montana side of the coin has stronger quarterback play. Eli Gilman, I think, is a smidge, just a smidge better than LJ Phillips Jr. I don't want to diminish his season. He's had a phenomenal year. And I think Michael Wortham is, again, a smidge more dangerous than the wideouts at South Dakota. So I think it could be very reflective. Mm-hmm. This could be like a great game. I could be looking at a 40-35 finish either way. I don't think it's going to be Montana goes and puts 50 up and completely stalls out South Dakota or vice versa. It's probably the most jump ball game that I would pick for this round of the playoffs, mostly because South Dakota they've shown the tendency to shock and to surprise and to exceed expectations, whereas Montana, as they have exceeded expectations for the year, they've kind of just settled into a quiet dominance, I'd say.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way of putting it, is that they're just winning confidently and they're doing it with visibly such ease. The Montana State game was very surprising that the way it went down. I think that it shouldn't sway our thoughts on how we think Montana is as a team. I think that we should still believe that Montana is one of the now favorites to win a national title with no North Dakota State on the table. It's very likely that they could end up getting there. But you mentioned South Dakota has been the chaos team. They have been the team that right when we count them out, right when we don't expect anything of them, they come and they shock everybody. They come and surprise everybody. Now, one aspect of this that plays into who to expect here, I'm going with Montana. Montana struggles with their pass defense, giving up 263 pass yards per game. But South Dakota isn't exactly a prolific passing team. Aiden Bauman's a really good quarterback, but they're not even passing 190 yards per game. They're not even going past 190 pass yards per game. It's a relatively low total that they're averaging in these games that they've played. So I just don't think that they're going to be able to take advantage of that. Both defenses have weaknesses. If anyone's going to take advantage of a weakness, it's going to be this Montana rushing attack led by Eli Gilman going after a South Dakota run defense that's giving up 150 a game.
Yeah, I don't know, my whole rambling point earlier was to say that I am not counting out South Dakota in any way. I won't be surprised if South Dakota makes it a game. I refuse to let a narrative of Montana State easily wins this or Montana State easy favorite, whatever. Like I can't have that take shape because South Dakota has just proved me wrong. They've got great wins on the year, but I think the Montana offense just came to life this season. Kiali Ayat threw for 1 billion yards. They ran for 1 billion yards. They have another dynamic Swiss Army knife wide receiver, running back, do-it-all guy, and Michael Wortham. Like, I'm just going to lean Montana in this one as respectfully as I can because I think South Dakota has earned that, but I'm going Montana in this one.
All right, last game, Illinois State at UC Davis. UC Davis is coming off of a beatdown that they put on our boys at Rhodey, 47-26. They had a bye in the first round. Illinois State shocked the world with their big win over North Dakota State last time out, 29-28. They also beat CELA in one of the more boring, I'm going to keep calling it one of the more boring playoff games that I've ever watched because it was. This one I have no pulse on. I think that I have to go with Illinois State based on the fact that Rittenhouse and the boys came out and despite everyone's expectation that they were going to get ran off the field and even melted down with a ton of interceptions, that they were still able to scratch and claw to stay in the game.
Now that's where my mind immediately goes, right? Like, is this team of destiny? Is this Illinois State team going to take that win and just run with it, and that carries them through a magical season, like a wild card team in the NFL that goes and works their way through the NFC, beats a dominant 1 seed, and challenges a juggernaut in the Super Bowl? Like, is that what I'm looking at here? Or am I looking at a possible emotional dump from the best playoff win that a team has had in the second round of the FCS playoffs in over 10 years? And then that's kind of treated like a natty win. And now we're prepping for a new team, and are we resting on just because I know how people I know what it like I know how people operate. Now it's like you either think you're bulletproof or you're kind of like, man, we did a really good job this playoff. So yeah, we'll go out there and keep playing games, but no one can take that second round win away from us. You have to extrapolate that from your consciousness, fellas. You actually have to completely forget that you had one of the most unlikely upsets over one of the most dominant FCS teams in history and go and focus on UC Davis. That's an impossible task. I'm well aware of how arduous that would be to have to lock in all over again for the chance to play 3 more games. Like, that's crazy. You had the best win of the playoffs, and now you got to play 3 more. How do you do that? Going to be tough. You got to run the rock. You got to lean on what's working. That's Rittenhouse to Sobkowitz. That's Ty Niekamp making a bunch of tackles. That's playing Illinois State football, which is, it's not suffocating. It's the Murray fish that hovers around the whale that never lets go. Illinois State does not let go. They continue to hang on. UC Davis, prickly, irritant. They are a team that can put up points in bunches. They've got a quarterback in Caden Pinnock that will give you fits. Watching him just carve Rhodey up in a variety of ways, how fast he looked when he broke the pocket. His arm strength was good. It had good pop on it. He just made plays. Like, it wasn't like quarterback dicing you up, but it was football player making plays against your team that will just break you as a person. So this one is terribly difficult to choose between Illinois State and UC Davis.
I lean towards Illinois State because we mentioned this last week. UC Davis's offensive line has been pretty mediocre. They've allowed 33 sacks on the year. Illinois State themselves have a pretty good front seven. One thing to monitor, Illinois State's pass defense, it's not bad, but they're giving up 235 pass yards per game, and we know that Caden Pinnock can really sling the rock. If he's able to get going, maybe that vaults UC Davis into a victory. But I do think, as much as you're talking about here, the emotional dump, I think that the inverse happens. I think that you think you're on top of the world and that you're going to be unstoppable coming into a game like this. It rides for at least one more game. I think it rides for at least one more. Rittenhouse can't throw 5 picks. He's got to protect the ball a lot better.
Oh my God, yeah.
They got to be a lot smarter.
I think we didn't even mention that. Yeah. Rittenhouse threw 5 picks and 1. Caden Pinnock threw 5 touchdowns and 1. So I don't know. It's FCS playoffs, man. You want me to make sense of it? You want me to do that? Good luck.
Yeah, no one tell me who's going to win this weekend because none of it makes sense.
I don't know. UC Davis has good play. Jordan Fisher looked good. Samuel Batu and Zach Jones had big weeks. Like this one is, I don't know. Just because they're not billed as the premier like top 5 brands in the FCS, they could actually give us the best game of the weekend. I think my lean. Actually, I need to keep completing my comeback on UNFC estimates. So I'm
just going to go flip on me.
Actually, I need the wins now. I need to just start picking some losers. I'm going Illinois State. Illinois State wins this one.
You literally can't come back on me. There's not enough weeks left.
No. The semifinals games count for 5 points, and then the championship game counts for 10 points.
That's never been the case. When has that ever been the case?
And then if the championship game is tied in the third quarter,
just making shit up.
And the scores immediately even out, and then we do a live
Stop making shit up. I'm excited for this Saturday slate of games, though. I'm going to be locked in as tight as I can for all of these. Surprisingly, we don't have a late night game. Latest game is 5 p.m. Eastern time for Illinois State, UC Davis. Folks, make sure you're subscribed. Reminder that today's episode was presented to you by our good friends over at FanDuel. We'll talk to you later. Enjoy the rest of your week.